Thank you, everybody, for joining us again for Chamber Chat. This is an opportunity for us to get to know a little bit better local business leaders and leaders in our community and just kind of hear their story. And today we're pleased to have with us Joe Palumbo. He is the owner of Vice Athletics. And you'll be fascinated to hear a little bit about their story and what they do. Joe, first of all, thanks for being here.
Thank
Uh,
you. Appreciate it.
we're we're so thrilled to have partners like you in our community, and wonder if you wouldn't mind kind of sharing your business story, how you got started, and so forth.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll keep it short for you. There's been a lot of twists and turns in it. But I basically I was having a conversation with my friends, with my buddies. We're all on a text thread back east the other day. I'm the only person that graduated with the degree that he's actually using for the field that he graduated in. So I graduated from the University of Dayton with a physiology degree. Did ACL injury prevention research after that for 7 or 8 years in Cincinnati. And the business has kind of evolved through that. And so I've had experience in the NFL. I've worked in the academic settings. So it's been a good mixture of kind of theoretical book learning stuff and application stuff. And that's kind of how Vice Athletics came to be. And we really try and focus on form and mechanics. So we're performance and prevention, a lot of it. So we work a lot with a wide range, but a lot of youth clubs and organizations. So we do sports specific training with them, functional training, with injury prevention as kind of the overarching emphasis. And that has been applied to all of our day-to-day programs and members and clients and all the classes and things that we kind of host throughout the week. So Vice is a weird kind of story. Like I've had a couple business partners through my course of a 15-year career, and it was a rebrand, and it was just a weird story. I was going to try and name it. We're going to rebrand and rename it, and I was going to call it Vis, VIS, which is Greek for power. And I beta tested, and this is why you run ideas by people that you don't like or people that will give you honest opinions. Nobody pronounced it the right way, and nobody knew what the heck I was trying to say. And so I literally, one of my good clients, he's like, "Why don't you just call it Vice Athletics?" And I looked up the website; it was available. I bought it on the spot, and then 6 months later, came back to the idea. So Vice Athletics was available, and I had a conversation with my dad, and he's like, Vice is a bad thing, right? And I said, yeah, but if you're going to be addicted to one thing, like, it should be your health and your fitness and your wellness. And there's no truer time than right now to really be thinking about those things, just in current light of COVID and everything that surrounds it. But that's kind of how Vice, and I'm really, really happy. I think we've got a strong team. We got a strong facility, and our outreach is going really well. So it's been really a great endeavor over the past, probably 15 years.
Fine. That's good to hear. Some advice. I like that.
Yeah.
So one thing that you just referenced, COVID has been unkind to a lot of businesses, and I know your industry especially has really been hurt by COVID. What have you seen? What changes have you had to make? How have you had to adapt? Those kind of things.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was trying to keep this perspective. I know that every single person on the globe is in this, right? So it's not like, woe is me. I realize we're kind of all like, well, what are we going to do? Well, we were shut down, and we've been reopened. We're at limited capacity. So they've changed the guidelines again. So we actually have gridded out our gym so that we can accommodate and maintain social distancing with masks and things like that. We're cleaning, disinfecting. But believe it or not, we have coupled that with doing more online programming and training. And that's been pretty successful as well as far as that launch goes. And again, we weren't anticipating any of this 5 months ago. So I really didn't have, we were doing it. So we have a program in the gym where I design and create your program. I upload it to an app, and then I essentially become like your strength and conditioning consultant, not necessarily your personal trainer. And that's been a really successful program. And so it was kind of already moving in that direction. So we've kind of taken that, and we're really trying to expand our outreach on that side of things, because you just, you don't know where things are going to go, and you're trying to put the best program together that makes the most sense to try and still have a positive impact on people. So in light of COVID, we've stayed positive, which I think is huge. We've tried to keep creating and shooting videos and putting out good content, because I think there's a lot of bad content in my field. Probably in all fields, it's the same thing, but I just see exercises out there. I'm like, you should never do that. And I see it all the time. But I just feel like our mission is to keep putting out good content and good programs, whether it's virtual or in person. I thrive on the in-person coaching, though. I really like it. I miss it. And I think our clients and members get that feel too. And it's not like a rah-rah kind of cheerleader kind of vibe, but it definitely has a kind of specific intensity when you're on site. And so we're trying to recreate that in the online environment, and use a bunch of different technology and webinar GoToMeeting type of situation. So all in all, it's been hard, but it's been challenging in the way that, like, a max effort deadlift is fun. Most people probably would not say that that's fun, but I think trying to pick up 500 pounds off the floor is fun. So
it's a lot more fun when you actually successfully pick it up off the floor.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you don't want to not do it. That could hurt.
Well, I know that, oftentimes when I go by your gym, that big garage door is open. So I'm guessing just the way your building is set up, there's a lot of airflow and stuff like that. That's good.
I really feel fortunate for that. And it's kind of one of the reasons that I liked the building regardless, was we had a big open environment in there. It's not cluttered. It's wide open space. We can easily distance people into quadrants, basically. And if you walked into the gym, you'd see tape lines all over the floor, and it just looks like a weird puzzle that's been taped together. But that was how we sorted through it. And right now I'm working on, we have 1,000 square foot parking lot in front of our building, and I'm going to sacrifice 4 parking spots. Sorry, Prime members, but you're not going to get your parking spots anymore. But we're going to put up an outdoor canopy, like an open air canopy that's 800 square feet. So that's the other piece. Like, we want to be able to continue to operate. We want to do it in a safe, smart way. And with that kind of potential to have an additional outdoor space, we had talked about going to the parks. We had talked about doing a bunch of stuff outside. But when you move out to a park system, I think you put more variability into the equation, not only with other people, but with just the type of flooring, and if you're working on turf or dirt, and I'm a fair weather person. Like, I'd rather stay dry and work out. I know it's Seattle. I didn't move here for the weather, but I think from my perspective that the more that we can control, I think the better that our clients and members feel, and I think the more that we can do and stay positive on that side of things. So
nice. You had mentioned you're from, I guess, Dayton, Ohio area. What was the prompt to move to Seattle from the Midwest?
It's a good question. I always get asked that. I grew up in Canton, Ohio, and went to school in Dayton, and then lived in Cincinnati for about 7 or 8 years before I moved out here in 2008. And when I was working in Cincinnati, I had actually been back and forth to the West Coast several times, and through seminars, symposiums, and doing other presentations and stuff with Children's Hospital and all those things. So I met a few good people out here one time when I came out. I think it was like probably 2005 or 2006.
Mhm.
And it got to that point in Ohio, and it was like a weird confluence of events. It was kind of like the perfect storm where the first time I came to Seattle, it was October, and I had never seen a hill that big. Like Mount Rainier was just like, you gotta be kidding me. I
Yeah.
cannot believe it. Because I just grew up in Ohio. We're just used to farm fields and corn. So, I met some good people. I had a job opportunity. Somebody offered me a job out here. Um, and in the back of my mind, I always said that if I did have an opportunity to move out west, and it wasn't even necessarily Seattle, that I would go. And it was kind of that confluence of, well, I'm good with the research and I've gotten the experience here. I really want to venture out on my own and do something completely different. And you could not get further away from Ohio. I was not running from anything, but I was just like, I loved the environment out here. And when I moved out here in October, of course, it was sunny and 70 for like all 5 days I was here. I was like, in October, I was like, this is beautiful.
Yeah.
In Ohio, it's rain, cold, football weather, drizzle, and possibly snowing. And so that was it. I really just made that decision. And ironically, the job that I moved out here for only lasted a few months.
Hmm.
And I immediately jumped into sole proprietorship. So it was like a really quick, like, okay, crap, this isn't working to a pivot. And I found that being a sole proprietor was actually way more fulfilling. It was harder and it was way more challenging, but I really enjoyed doing it more. And I was surrounded by really solid people. At that time, I was at Sound Mind and Body Gym, which was over on the Fremont Canal, which no longer exists. But it was just a great place. And that was like a great hub for a lot of trainers to figure out, who they were, what their style was. And there's a lot of people that came through that gym that actually went off and started their own facility. So I feel pretty fortunate to have been in the right place at the right time and just made the right decision. I don't look back and question it. So it's been a good run ever since.
Very cool. Joe, the person, what's something unique or interesting? Do you have a hobby? Do you have a skill? Are you a good singer? Tell us something about you.
You asked me that question, and I've been thinking about it for 24 hours. I am not a good singer. I can tell you definitely what I'm not. I am, one of my favorite things to do is play the guitar. I'm self-taught guitarist. And so a lot of times, and what I love about music in general, both of my kids, so I have a 4-year-old right now, and Lucia and Leo, who's just over 1.5. And they are both, they listen to music nonstop. So I'll get the guitar out, and little Leo is trying to pluck the strings on the guitar, and he's hitting the guitar. And we have a piano in the house, and Lucia will be over there just banging on the keys. She just likes the noise, I'm convinced. But music has been, I think, a really positive and good influence for myself, for sure. And both my kids love it and enjoy it. And my wife plays the piano too. So we kind of enjoy doing that stuff when we're free and when it's quiet.
Sounds like a fun household.
It's never quiet here. I just did, so I had an early client this morning, excuse me. And then came home and did like an 8-hour stint with both kids. And it's full-time work. It's a full-time job. It's fun, but it's not stop. It's all good.
You're in good shape to be chasing them that many hours.
You absolutely have to be. And it's just like amazing how much energy it takes to wrangle 2 kids. I'm just like, I get to the end of the day and I'm like, whew, okay, let's go to bed.
So last question, looking forward, what makes you hopeful about the future?
Well, that's a complicated question, and I think my general default, and maybe I'm just really naive and maybe I just choose to be, and I think part of it could possibly be like a generational thing. I mean, I'm a Gen Xer, and so we're latchkey kids. And so and I've had this conversation a bunch of times, which is why it's kind of on the top of my brain. I think of myself more as a problem solver than a problem creator. And what makes me hopeful is I know that we are resilient. I know that we are creative as humans in general. I tend to have a positive outlook for anybody and anything in any situation. And I think this is kind of like one of those weird situations that I think we're gonna look back on. Like, I remember 9/11. I remember the space shuttle, the Challenger exploding, right? So those are like two big events in my life. This is gonna be one of those. And I think it's gonna change how we interact, how we operate. I don't think it's gonna change how we crave connection. And I think that's where I'm hopeful, because I think that the resiliency lies right there in that connection. So the more people find ways to connect and continue to communicate, and stay positive, I think that's probably the biggest thing as far as being hopeful for the future. I've always been that way, and I kind of think I'm built that way. But I don't back down from a challenge. Like, I know a lot of businesses are hurting and struggling right now. And I'm connected with a couple local fitness business owners, and we get together every other week or so, and we talk to each other about staying positive. And this is what we're doing. This is what's worked. This is what hasn't worked. So I think as long as we continue to talk and stay positive and problem solve, that there's always going to be hope moving ahead. So I just choose to wake up every day and say those three things. And hopefully that comes across, like, when we connect. I mean, even virtual or, face-to-face in the gym, I want that to come across to all of our members and clients and athletes. Like, I definitely have your best interest at heart. I have all of our best interests at heart. I'm trying to do what's right. But also, I know that I want to create kick-ass programs. Like, I still have a mission. Like, I still have a mission here, and it's basically to create strong, healthy people, to prevent injuries, and to maintain health and wellness. So at the end of the day, I think what I'm doing is a net positive for our community. So that's why I'm sticking with it.
Nice. I love that perspective. And you're living out your own, what you said about the human connection by getting together with other business owners and encouraging each other to stay positive. That's key. I like that.
Yeah. I mean, even if it's just a vent, it's a good thing. I mean, we get together and we're like, I'm like, hey, it's okay, man. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
And it helps. It really does help. And those things, I think, are integral. That's why I'm always going to be hopeful. I'm hopeful for what our business is and what health and fitness means. And maybe people will see and put a different emphasis on it as well, too. And I think of it from that perspective as well. And I don't think of it differently now than I did 6 months ago. I mean, I still wake up every day and eat the same breakfast and continue to work out 4 or 5 days a week and eat healthy and eat consistently. So I'm definitely a big practice what I preach kind of person. And if you need to come in and vent, I mean, I'm all ears, but I'm still going to kick your ass.
In a loving way.
Oh, of course. Of course.
Awesome. Well, Joe, before we say goodbye, if you would kind of describe how they find you, your physical location, your website, social, how they follow you, all those things.
Right on. So we're just at viceathletics.com. And all of our Instagram and Facebooks are the same, Vice Athletics. What we are doing, actually, which is a little bit different, is on the website now, you can sign up for a 20-minute consult. So we've actually pivoted how we onboard people. And a lot of it is, well, I'm comfortable coming into the gym. And we have space, right? So if those two things mix and match and mesh up, then it's a good opportunity to kind of get some in-person training. But also there's people that are like, look, I need guidance. I need help. I need to work out. I don't have a gym. I don't want to come into the gym just yet. I'm not comfortable. And that's a great kind of 20-minute conversation to have with people. That makes it super easy, and it's not like salesy, cheesy. Like, I'm literally just finding out, like, is it a good fit, or how can we help you? And so we try to make it really easy, like just going to the website, and there's there's a form there that you can fill out and book a 20-minute consult directly into my schedule. So super easy. And we constantly update like our schedules and things like that on Facebook. So that's how we're trying to socially stay active.
In your physical location?
We are located in Magnolia. We are just on the other side of Dravis by the Boxcar Ale House. Our location is 3243 20th Avenue West. So we're kind of sandwiched between the AM PM on Dravis and 20th and the Boxcar Ale House. Can't miss us. There's a big orange sign out front and a big blue canopy out in front of our building, which is going to be a big white canopy in about 2 weeks. So we are open and operating though.
And sometimes you'll see Joe's motivational signs out by that bike trail, I believe, too.
You will, interestingly, that sign, little quick story on that sign. So I'm not a marketing genius at all. I always tell people I went to school for physiology, not marketing. So I came up with yard signs, and they're individual yard signs, and it says "we" on one sign, "sell" on the other sign, 6-packs on the third sign, and it has a Vice Athletics logo.
Wow.
I've had at least 10 people come in when I had those signs up. 2 of them were looking for a brewery. And the other 8 were like, wow, I never knew this place was here. And it's just like, and they walk in, they see the turf field, and they're like, oh man, I've ridden my bike past this place 100 times and never knew it was here. So we still sell 6-packs.
The best kind for you.
The best kind for you, man. If you want another 6-pack, you can go up to Figurehead. I know that they can serve you up something for sure after the workout.
Nice. Well, thank you so much, Joe. It's always good to talk with you and to hear your energy, and we appreciate what you're doing, what you're bringing to the community.
Thanks for the time, man. I appreciate the voice.
Absolutely. Take care.
Well, thanks, Jason.